What's up, guys? I want to make a bit of a impromptu video going over how to get energy all day long, and more specifically what I do. I want to give you 3 of the things I do in this video that helps me to maintain my energy all day long and helps me to also gain energy if I'm feeling a little low. Because I'm in a point in my life now where I don't really have many low energy days, and I actually realized this because I actually did have a low energy day a couple days ago, but this was the first one in like months, and I mean many months, where I actually felt low energy. I didn't feel motivated. I didn't feel inspired. And of course I realized that, and then the next day got back at it, did the things I know help me energize. And so I want to give them to you in this kind of casual way right now. So I'm going to give you 3 things. So the first thing is I do what's called intermittent fasting. Many of you may know what that is, but essentially I have an eating window, and I only eat solid foods in that time. So I don't follow this in a very strict way, because there are probably some things I have that technically aren't intermittent fasting. I still drink coffee in the morning. Sometimes I drink a latte, which is technically not, but I haven't found that it affects my energy. So in the morning I will have a coffee usually, and I will have a green juice, and I got one out for you right here. These are just pre-made ones, but it's organic, cold pressed green juice. This one is just kale and green apple. I'm really, I don't have that much selection, so I go for these ones, and there's another good one with a few other things in it. But essentially, for in the morning, that's all I drink. I have that, and I have coffee. I don't have breakfast, I don't have lunch, and I won't eat until later, until I'm hungry, and I usually won't eat until it's past 3 or 4 p.m. There are some nights I don't even eat until 6 p.m. where I'm having the first solid thing of the day. And I have to tell you, this has affected my energy levels in such a great way, where I used to eat 5 meals a day actually, and I would have a meal like every 2.5 hours. They weren't always meals. I'd have bigger ones and smaller ones, but I would eat throughout the day, and my energy would waver. It would go up and down. I would crash. I would sometimes need to have an afternoon nap, whereas now, sometimes I have so much energy that I have to do certain things to make sure I go to sleep. So that's all I do in the morning, is I have maybe a coffee, just because I like the taste. It's nothing that I could not have it, and some days I don't, and I'd be fine. I don't really get energy from that. I have my green juice, and on other days when I have it, I don't always have it, I'll have some bone broth as well, but all very light, liquidy type things, and I don't have anything solid till towards the end of the day. So that's the first thing I do to get energy, to maintain energy. That's so effective for me. All right, guys, so second one, and this is another important one, and I actually stood up for this one to emphasize it, which is I microdose movement. So I'll try and flip this. This is my desk set up. I have a chair, but a lot of times what I'll do on certain days is I will get that bucket right there, with nicely placed on there is some of my boxers, so you're welcome for that. But then I'll put it on this desk, and I will prop my computer up on it, and I will be standing at the desk doing stretches or just kind of moving around. And unless I really need to sit down and do some deep work where I can't really be standing, that's how I will usually go about doing my work. So I'm standing a lot of the day, and you can look at studies that show when you sit, your muscles start to contract, they start to tighten up, your energy starts to struggle to move through your body in the same way. We're not meant to be sitting for long periods of the day. We're just not built for it. Our ancestors were moving around, walking from place to place. They weren't really sitting, throughout the day. They were moving. So what you can do is microdose workouts throughout the day. So what I'll do is I'll be standing a lot of the times, but if I have a break, like let's say I'm processing a video and it's going to take 5 minutes for the video to process, I'll be like, okay, I'll go off and do something else. I'll do something movement active. I'll do some jumping jacks. I'll do some push-ups. I'll do maybe a 5-minute stretch, but I'll do something to move my body, and that will automatically increase my energy levels, and it will maintain it throughout the day. So I'll be doing many of these little microdose workouts throughout the day, and I have to tell you, since I've been doing that, like my energy levels have just improved significantly when I microdose workouts. So then the first one is try not to sit too much, especially unnecessarily. So even if you're watching a TV show or something, maybe you can stretch, maybe you can stand and watch and just kind of move around. Doesn't mean you can't sit at all during the day, but try and limit it. And if you're someone like me who works on the computer a lot, see if you can find ways to stand and work at the computer. See if you can find ways, even if you do have to sit, for every 30 minutes or 45 minutes of work you do, try and do a little 3 to 5 minute workout for every 35 to 45 minutes of work. And this again is just going to help your energy levels so significantly. It's crazy how much this works. Like, it's crazy when you compare as well. When I remember days of sitting the whole day versus doing this, the difference is enormous just by doing the simple thing of standing and doing these little microdose workouts. So last one I want to give you guys that has been incredibly beneficial to me as well. Again, these are all things I do. These are not just things I've looked up on the internet or something. These are things I actually apply in my life and have experience with. And this last one is the one that probably requires the most discipline in my eyes, probably because it's the one I struggle with the most right now and I'm still working on. But it's the one that requires the most discipline, but it's also one of the most effective. And it's really sticking with a sleep schedule. And so what I found helps is to have a morning routine that helps you get into the day from the foundation you want, but also, and something a lot of people forget about, is your evening routine. In fact, I consider the evening routine almost more important because I think your morning starts in your evening. If you're watching stuff late at night, if you're in front of a screen, if you're going to bed at 1 a.m., if you're eating heavy at night, all these different things that are making it so it's going to be harder to get up at the time you want or harder to do the things you want in the morning, that's only going to prevent you from having the energy you want. So you want to set it up so you're getting anywhere between 6 to 8, maybe even more hours of sleep depending on what you've done during the day. For example, I played football yesterday for 2 hours. My body's a bit more sore, so I needed more sleep. So instead of maybe the 8 that I normally would get, I get 9 or 10, and I'll factor that in. But I always have a morning routine that involves things like gratitude. It involves movement. It involves waking myself up and starting the day in a way that's positive so I can take that into the rest of the day, and then I make sure my energy stays up through the microdosing, through the intermittent fasting during the day. But you want to make sure you're setting up your day for success. But you also want to make sure you're ending your day on success, so having an evening routine. Now, the most important thing I'm going to give you here is having what's called a shut-off time, a shut-off period. And for me, this is usually 7 p.m. And when I'm adhering to this very strictly, I will stop all work, all electronics, all any kind of overthinking mind material at 7 p.m. And anything after 7 p.m. will be my evening routine, or it'll be stuff like reading, hanging out with my girlfriend, journal, gratitude practices, and anything between my morning and evening routine, that's when I do all the work-related stuff. But I have that shut-off period, and I have a specific evening routine I do. It can be different for everyone, but this evening routine helps me get ready for bed. It helps me to drift off. I put on glasses even that block off light, or white light, blue light, I forget which, but helps me to sleep, because if you have all these lights on while you're trying to go to sleep, your body actually believes the sun is out and starts producing certain chemicals that make your body think it needs to be awake at that time. So you need to do things that encourage your body to wind down. It's why some people, they're tired but they can't sleep, because their body still thinks it's morning. It still thinks the sun is up. So make sure you're avoiding that. But have these morning and evening routines as set points, and if you can be disciplined with that, it's going to help you so much. All right, so to recap, number 1, intermittent fasting. I drink the juice, the coffee, maybe the bone broth, but I don't really eat anything until I'm hungry later, which will be anywhere, it varies, but it'll be usually between 3 and 6 p.m. I'll have my actual first meal. When I'm playing football at 6 or 7 p.m., I'll have it a little earlier, some maybe 1 or 2 p.m., but otherwise I will not. Next is having the movement throughout the day. Don't sit so much. Make sure if you are sitting every 30, 45 minutes, if you can, go do some push-ups real quick, jumping jacks, something to get your blood pumping, to get moving, do some stretching, and microdose workouts throughout the day. And the last one, have that morning and evening routine, and most importantly, have that shut-off period at night that's going to help you get away from the electronics, get away from these things that are draining you, and will allow you to have an amazing night's sleep and wake up with a ton of energy, which you will then maintain and gain with these other practices I've given you. All right, guys, so I hope that's been helpful. Let me know if you like videos of this style. As always, I love you. Let me know your thoughts down below, what you do to keep your energy up, and I'll see you in the next video.